Hello there. So, 3 seconds on, 4 seconds. Let's wait a little bit to see if anybody wants to join us. I want to talk a little bit about how you can know that you are an artist. And that is such a huge topic, and it's one of my favorite topics, actually. I'm a creativity coach. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shallalla or Shalin Anders. I'm a creativity coach. I work mostly with singers and other musicians. But at the heart of everything that I do is really the question of what makes an artist tick. And maybe you've asked this question yourself, like, how do I know whether I am an artist or not? And that's what I want to talk about today. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I'm going to have a sip of my tea, and I'm happy to interact with you. Just let me know in the chat how you're doing today. So, for those of you who have watched the latest videos that I uploaded, those were beautiful conversations, or a beautiful conversation with Mark Baxter. And let me tell you something about Mark Baxter. He's such a wonderful, generous human being who also happens to be a vocal coach. And he's such an artist, and he understands artists at a very, very deep level. And in this conversation, he told the story. He likened artists to a bird whose survival instinct it actually is to build a nest, and the bird actually doesn't understand why. It just knows that it has to build a nest, and it's not even equipped like with a lot of tools or with a manual or anything. It just has this beak, and nevertheless it builds the nest. And I really love this image for artists. And it reminded me of a story from my life that is actually kind of similar and goes really to the core of how do I know that I am an artist. So here's my little story. When I was 10 or 11 years old, it was summer, like the summer holidays, which are in Germany 6 weeks. And I spent those summer holidays in a cast. I had broken my leg and I wasn't able to move. And it so happens that my sister came one day, she came home with a baby bird. And I became this baby bird's primary caregiver. I spent every waking minute with this bird. And I was worried, like, am I a good bird mother? Like, does it get to know everything it needs to know about being a bird? Like, I mean, those are weird concepts. I was a strange kid. So, hi there, Brian. How are you today? Just telling this little story of the bird that I nurtured when I was a child. And one day, this bird was just sitting like on my stomach and looking up at my chest, and I was wearing a blue shirt, and I think this is kind of significant. And it just sat there and it looked at me, and it looked and looked, and all of a sudden it like spread its wings and it flew for the very first time. And it was just like these, like, I don't know, less than 15 centimeters, but I was super excited that that bird had just flown for the very, very first time. And I wondered, like, how did this little bird know how to fly? I mean, it was around me all of the time. It's a great story, isn't it? I mean, I so love it if you think about it. How did it know how to fly? Because it was with me basically its whole life, and I was the most immobile person you could imagine because my leg was in a cast and I had to use crutches to go to the bathroom. And nevertheless, it knew how to fly. And you can say, Shala, this is kind of stupid. It's a bird. It knows how to fly. Exactly. That is my point. A bird knows how to fly. And you know that you're an artist just because you know. And even if you are not nurtured, like if your parents are not like used to deal with creative persons and they don't see your talent, it doesn't mean that you are not an artist. You are an artist if you know you are. It's very, very simple. Brian, are you an artist? Let me ask you this. It is cool. Yeah, it's cool to be an artist for sure. And So it really doesn't matter where you come from. It really doesn't matter like whether somebody shows you how to be an artist. The only thing you need to know is you are an artist if you feel like you are. Just like that little bird, it knew how to fly, and you know you're an artist. And that is actually all that I wanted to tell today. Um, and I hope that this story gives you a little bit of comfort if you are like not sure what you are, who you are, whether you're comfortable calling yourself an artist. I know I wasn't comfortable with that label for a long, long time. And maybe you saw my video series on The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, because that was really for me the breakthrough of saying, hey, I'm an artist and I'm comfortable with that label. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I talk to you soon. Bye bye. Bye, Brian.